Welcome back to episode 8 of Always Patriots, J Soccer Podcast. I am Brendan Horton, joined as always by Coach Robert Seipp. How's it going, Coach?
Doing all right, Coach. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Recording in the daylight for the first time. It's a change of pace here for us.
It was a good week for us, a good week of soccer, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even realize until this morning that things are coming to a close really fast, really quickly. In the next week and a half, all this summer league stuff is going to wrap up, and then it's going to be our August boot camp before tryouts. And it's just as excited as I am to get to tryouts in the season. As a teacher, I really want things to slow down. So I'm kind of having mixed feelings.
It's the way it is as a teacher, right? The summer always flies by. I think for everyone, the summer always flies by because it's such a great time. But yeah, we're already towards the end of July, and that's life. Keep
Yeah, but
moving.
at least we have the silver lining that we get to have soccer lead us into the return to school and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I tell you, September's such a beautiful month weather-wise too, and I know it's the start of school, but 31 years teaching, even more coaching, I still love it. So I definitely look forward to that fall season for sure, and really looking forward to this season as well.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's beautiful weather-wise. We get to be out on the field, we get to be with the guys, and yeah, it's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And I just try not to think about school. you know.
Yep. All right. So let's go through the week if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on Tuesday we were at Lakeland against Lakeland, and when I got to Lakeland, I did that one by myself, right? You couldn't make it that game. And when I got to Lakeland, talking to Coach Horahan, which is one of our favorite guys, first thing that came up was Anthony Frobos, drafted by the Mets in the 5th round. So Anthony's not a
Nice.
soccer player, a baseball player, shortstop for Lakeland High School. But Anthony grew up playing with my son Landon in East Fishkill, and really awesome to see that the Mets drafted him.
Yeah,
Believing in the New York kid.
good for him. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome. Always love it when anyone local achieves that way. It's really, really cool, especially in the district that I work in, and we love Coach Horahan. So that's really that's awesome.
Yeah, he was definitely excited. One of his former students in middle school, so he was definitely pumped for him. And then we went on to play Lakeland. Really, really good soccer game. 0-0, no score at the end of 50 minutes, but played really well. We had a pretty good roster. Uriel in the back is just continuing to play fantastic. Logan was one of our holding midfielders who was just awesome. Good to have Sean V. Brock back. He's been hurt a little bit over the summertime, but he's coming back and getting fit. Sean V. Brock is so good. Justin Ortiz playing right alongside with him. I talked to the two of them a little bit about playing with each other. They were sort of just in that center attacking mid position, not really looking for each other, getting the ball and just looking to go forward, or getting the ball and looking to knock it out wide, or getting the ball and looking to go to the central forward that we've got up there, but not really looking for each other. Talked to them at halftime about that. And even as they went out to the second half, I pulled them both aside and I said, hey, listen, when one of you gets the ball, you have to be looking for the other guy, play with each other. And I thought they did a really good job of that in the second half. and Coach Orahan even had said to me how impressed he was with Justin Ortiz. So guys really played well, and Lakeland played well too. They've got a good team, obviously very well coached, very well organized. It was a really good game to be a part of.
That's awesome. And yeah, those guys, Sean and Justin, they, at times can kind of play like they're out on an island, but if we can get them playing together with one another, man, they'll be a menace and a headache for opposing defenses. So it's good that we're, making some progress there.
And that's the beauty of the summer league, right? I mean, that's why we love it so much because, Sean and Justin play in different club teams. So they're not playing with each other throughout the course of the year, and they're probably playing a different formation. So to get them on the same field for some minutes together was really helpful. Just makes that transition into the fall season that much easier.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to work those things out and develop them now than when it's the third game of the season and you're in a 0-0 game and it really matters and just saves us so much time and really gives the teams that participate in the summer league get such a huge step up on those who don't, in my opinion. Certainly for us, pre-doing it and post-doing it, the difference is humongous in
Night
terms
and
of,
day, yeah.
yeah, the information that you have as a coach, and you can see potential issues and iron them out before you have to get into a scrimmage or before it's August 30th.
Yeah. Yeah, so 2 issues that we had in that game, if you don't mind me chatting about just a little bit. That's the coach in me always looking for the negative, right?
Yeah.
So even though it was a good game, we're still having some trouble with 2 things. One of them is our outside guys with their, willingness to take guys on 1v1 out wide on the flank. So when they get the ball, if they've got some space out wide, for whatever reason, that doesn't seem to be an option, for them. They're always looking to play back to one of the center backs or into the midfield, which is all fine. But I'm trying to get them to look forward to the center attacking mid or look forward to the center forward or to just take that ball themselves, fake that pass inside and take it out wide and take guys on 1v1. But for whatever reason, we're still not willing to do that. So we talked about that. And then Michael Versace, a funny thing happened. He got the ball deep in our defensive third of the field. Michael's one of our outside wide guys, right? He's a center midfielder by trade. He's played center midfield his entire life with the East Fishkill Falcons, but he's out wide for us. So he gets the ball out wide, but deep, like literally just outside of our penalty area. And he takes on one guy out wide and beats him. So he gets up to the 30, 35-yard line. He's about to enter the middle third of the field. He takes on a second guy out wide. Scissor move, beats him out wide. So now he's up at midfield, tries to take on a third guy, and I forget what happened, pushed the ball out of bounds, or he lost the ball to a covering defender. So when we came over out at halftime, I said to him, I said, guys, listen, like, I want you guys to take guys on 1v1, but Michael, not in the defensive
Yeah.
third, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
not the time to do it.
I don't need you to go 70 yards,
Right, right. So I was laughing when I'm talking to the team. I said, I really appreciate, like we've talked about, you listening to me and you trying to take guys on. And if that option is available out wide, I said, and it was available, but you're in the defensive third. I'd sort of rather you just play the ball up because the risk is not worth the reward of just beating a guy, 20 or 30 yards from our own goal. I said to him, but after beating 2 guys, that third guy, it's definitely not available anymore, right? Like you have now drawn the team over to that flank. Now we got to go through the middle and we got to change to the other side of the field. But he's been playing great, and all the guys are trying. But for
He
whatever
has.
reason, outside mid, he's just that is not one of the options that they have in their toolbox, and just trying to get them to recognize that that has to be an option, right? You can't always
Yeah.
go back or square. You got to look to go forward to the guys in the middle of the field. But of course, there's covering defenders in that middle of the field, so a lot of times that flank is available. And if they can take it themselves with a little scissor move fake going inside and then take it out wide, that has to be an option.
Yeah, and just getting them to identify when the right time and place based on and situations. I think that is probably the toughest thing that we're working with because, like you said, they're trying. We're telling them what to do, and then they're trying it, and then you have scenarios like you just said with Michael, where yeah, that's not really the time to do it. And again, rather find this out now in the summer league than in our opening match. But yeah, I think it's a work in progress. But the fact that they're willing to try it and then learn from that has been huge, and I think it'll continue to be huge for us.
Yeah, and what I was explaining to the entire team was if we get that ball on the 35 in the attacking third of the field, and if Michael or any outside mid, if there's some space out wide, and if the opportunity presents itself, if they can beat their guy out wide, I said to the guys, well, "What's going to happen?" And I said, "Oh, some of the guys in the middle are going to come over and try to stop that outside mid." And I said, "Exactly
Ding
now."
ding.
Now that pass into the middle, or now that cross is going to be that much more effective. And by the way, what is the goalkeeper doing when you're an outside
Yeah,
mid and you beat your guy out wide
he's
and you start to head towards that near post, right?
got
What
to
is
pin
the
himself
goalkeeper
to the
doing?
near
Yeah,
post. Yeah.
yeah. And now that cross coming over is going to be that much more effective versus our outside guys getting the ball and immediately having a touch, looking up, and then just winding up and sending that cross in. I mean, it might work, it might be effective, but everybody knows it's coming. The keeper knows it's coming. The
Right.
center back knows it's coming. Versus if you could take advantage of that space and beat one guy, you're going to have a second guy come over defensively, and then it's just going to make it that much easier for the guys that you pass
And
it to.
I think there's a mentality too of the players that are like, well, what if we get out there and all the defending players flood that area? And I don't think they realize that like, that's the goal. That is the dream
Right.
for them to open up the middle of the field. Like, yeah, we don't want to play into the teeth of their defense, but if we can draw them out, then yeah. It's a matter of just we tell them playing where the space is. And well, the space is by default almost versus every team we play on the flank. And if we can just hammer that enough to pull them out, well, then, yeah, then play through the middle if they shift their priority, but they're putting their best defenders, in the dead center of the field. So we need to do something to draw them out instead of just playing right into their, like I said, the teeth of the defense.
Yeah, it's so true, and I talk to the guys about that as well. Like, even if you go out wide and it's unsuccessful, say you're not able to beat your guy and he's staying with you shoulder to shoulder, and you get a second defender to come over and double team you. I said, it's okay. Put your foot on the ball, stop. Now go back. Now you could play back to one of the CDM, and now we can play over to the other side. But to your point, if it's not successful, you've drawn two guys, maybe even definitely the attention of three or four other players.
Yeah.
Now when you stop that ball and go backwards and negative and go to, a CDM like a Logan Matthews or a Win Boscarino, man, how much more effective is it for those guys now when they get the ball? They've got some better options. They're going to have some options through the middle, and they're definitely going to have an option to change the point of the attack. So just all good things can happen if you have all these things in your toolbox, right? If we just become a one-dimensional team, if every time our outside mids get the ball, they just cross it in. I mean, okay, you're putting the ball in a dangerous spot, but I just wish that we had some more things in our toolbox when
Yeah,
that ball went out wide.
it's not necessarily a dangerous chance. Just, I mean, we do want to get the ball there, but when you're just sending it in and you don't have players committed there and their backs are sitting back like they're playing center field ready to just win the ball, the
Yeah.
circumstances are different, and we just have to help them identify those things and really figure out when is the right time and when is the right, place and numbers wise and stuff like that. What was the other issue, Coach? I think I know what it is, but for our eager listeners.
Well, so at the end of the game, I'll tell you what happened, and then I'll backtrack to what happened. At the end of the game, we're going through the handshake line and shaking Coach Becker's hand and Coach Horahan's hand. I said to them, hey, listen, because they run the league and they post the scores and everything. And I said, hey, listen, put down a 2-0 win for you guys because you guys had two PKs in the first half that wasn't called. And they both laughed. They're obviously such good guys. But in the first half, Lakeland had not even great opportunities, but they were able to get the ball in the box. And for whatever reason, we had two different guys. I can't remember who it was, but two different guys. And whether or not they fouled the Lakeland player, I'll be honest, I don't know because it was on the other half of the field than I was on. And both of those Lakeland players, long story short, got tripped up, tangled up with our players, and down they went. And when the Lakeland players and the Lakeland coaches were all saying to the referee, hey, where's the PK? And the referee, no, he got the ball, it was incidental contact, whatever the case may be. But I really got on our guys in the moment and then at halftime too. And I just said to them, like, why even give the referee you're giving the ref an opportunity to make the call when you have contact in that penalty area. And coach, I know you weren't there, but both of these opportunities that the Lakeland kid was not headed towards goal. It was not an opportunity where you tensed up like, oh my God, they're about to score here. They were sort of going parallel to the sideline. Away from the goal, killing their angle, these Lakeland players, and we're on the inside running with them. And for whatever reason, we're just too handsy. We're just too, willing to dive in and go for that ball when there's no reason for us to do that. Just stay goal side and do not even make contact with the player. Because as soon as you make contact with the player, then is it a foul? Is it not a foul? Did you get the ball first? Then it becomes I don't know, so it's up to the referee to make that call. And for us, it worked out in the summer league, but I know it drives you and I crazy that there was no need for us to dive in. Just stay goal side, don't make contact, try to prevent the cross from happening because that's the best that those two Lakeland players could do. And long story short, we sort of tangled up with them and they both went down and our guys both immediately put their hands up like, hey, it wasn't me, and it just gives the referee an opportunity, to get
Yeah.
involved in the game and make a
Yeah.
PK call.
Why put it into their hands and let them have that deciding factor when you don't have to? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
as long as I've been saying this to the guys all summer and for a decade, as long as you're between the ball and the goal, you're fine. You can't score, right? Like, you don't have to win it. And I think that's this mentality that tense up and I got to get it right now. No, you don't, right? Like, as long as ultimately it doesn't end up in our net, I don't even care if it's in our box. As long as you're between the ball and the goal, it's not going in the goal. But that's probably the toughest habit to break. I've been coaching for over 20 years. Just
Yeah.
this mentality of I have to win the ball right now.
Yeah, and it's like we've instilled that mentality in our guys up top, like Martin as our center forward has done such a good job of just dictating where their opposing attack is gonna be, just locking the center back to one side of the field, and then our attacking center mid, same thing, just trying to keep the ball on one side of the field. Again, to your point, you don't have to win it. You just have to make their attack predictable, and we've done that, with our guys up top, but for whatever reason, our guys in the back, yeah, and maybe it becomes a panic situation like, oh my God, they're in the box. Oh my God, they're really close to the goal. My mentality is, oh my God, they're in the box. Oh my God, they're close to the goal. I cannot commit a foul. You're at midfield
Right.
and you commit a foul. All right, you and I are going to be mad, but all right, they're 50 yards from goal. I mean, it's not the end of the world. You commit a foul in the box. I mean, geez, it's a PK. And even if they are heading towards goal, even if it is a golden opportunity, put yourself in the shoes of a Lakeland forward. You're running at goal with a defender on your shoulder, breathing down your neck, a goalkeeper coming out to cut your angle. What's a better opportunity for you to score? That opportunity, which is good, or a penalty kick where there's nobody breathing down your neck. The goalie's not allowed to come out at you. You're 12 yards from goal. You could take a deep breath, you could relax, and you could get a free shot on goal. So it's just in my mind never ever acceptable to make contact in that penalty area.
You have to make them earn the goal, right? Like, and I
Yeah.
feel like when you concede a penalty like that, it's just a gift, right? And I feel like we have to work so hard to score. Why are you going to give them a gift like that when they're not going to give you that? They're going to make you earn your goals. Make them earn their goals because, like you said, there's some unbelievable situations that the other attack can be in, and they knock the ball wide. They knock the ball to your keeper. A million different things can happen that end up with that worked out fine. Our goalkeeper just has the ball, you know. But when you give them the ball 12 yards from the spot, you have to make it more difficult for them. And it's the same thing we tell those guys up top, right? Like, just make things hard for them.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, and you watch, like, the professional level, a lot of times when the defenders are in the box, they put their hands behind their back, right? Why are they doing that? They don't wanna give the referee an opportunity where the ball hits their hand, and was their hand in a natural position, and did it give you the so that's why the professionals do that. That's why they put their hands behind their back because they don't want to involve the referee in their, 1v1 confrontation there. So same thing with us, just when you're in the box, in my mind, you cannot, under any circumstance, make contact with that attacker. Like you say, just stay goal side, try to prevent the shot, try to prevent the cross, or if you can't, make it as difficult as possible. Breathe down the guy's neck so that he's really under pressure because a penalty kick is so much easier for an attacker to score. And maybe sometimes it's the mentality, and that's why I personally, as a coach, love putting players in different positions because sometimes some of our defenders have never played up top and they don't realize just how difficult it is to finish up top as a scorer. So even though you've got a good chance, even though you're sort of going towards goal, and again, both of these situations, the kid wasn't going towards goal. It's not as easy as it looks. So as a defender, just put him under pressure, stay goal side, do the best you can. Listen, I'm not happy that we're defending in the box, but don't make a bad situation worse.
Yeah, 100%.
So that was the Lakeland game. Like I said, really good game. And then that was on Tuesday, I think, Tuesday night. And then Wednesday we went to Ossining, and we had a doubleheader at Ossining, and we went 2-0 that day. So we played the Ossining JV team. We won 3-0 or 4-0. I'm not too sure what that score was. And then we switched fields at Ossining High School, and we beat Hastings 2-1. So some good stuff in those two games as well.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. We've had a lot of success in that Ossining league this summer, which has been a good thing.
Yeah, I think we'll be one of the top 2 seeds, right, come playoff.
Yeah.
We just heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a bye through the first round of the quarterfinals. So we won both games, but anything of note from them? Because again, that's
Well,
another two games I was not at.
yeah, coach, you know me. So in the Ossining first game at 5 o'clock, we played pretty well. Actually, Ossining was late getting there, crazy as that sounds, but the Ossining coach thought it was a 5:30 game and it was a 5 o'clock kickoff. So we were pressed with time because we had to get down to the lower field for a 6:30 kickoff down there. So that the first half was shortened. By the time Ossining got there and sort of got warmed up, it was steaming hot, so they didn't really have to get warmed up. But we only played like 20 minutes in the first half versus the typical 30-minute halves that we play at Ossining. And we went up 3-0, played some pretty good soccer. But Ossining was weak, and it was their JV team, and they were late getting there. I think they maybe even started with 10 players, if I remember correctly. So we sort of beat up on them in that first half, and at halftime, I talked to the guys about just playing good soccer and not worrying about the opponent, not worrying about the score or anything like that. But I did say to them, hey, in the second half, let's not be jerks, right? I mean, obviously, we're much better than this team. Let's not stick it to these guys. So I said in the second half, let's keep doing what we're doing. Let's play good soccer, play good defense, but let's not score, right? Because there was just no need to at that point, and there's plenty of other things that we could work on our game. So I said to him, once we get in the box, drive the ball wide. And there were, I think, 2 lacrosse goals on either side of the goal, up against the wall. And I said to them, just try to hit one of those 2 goals. I said, don't be a jerk about it, but just give them a goal kick and let's come back and let's work on our defense. And unfortunately, as high school kids, they did not take that advice to heart, and they went out there and they tried to continue to score. So we did get a 4th goal, and one of the guys on the bench said to me, "Oh, that kid really wanted to score." And I said, "Well, guess what? The score is still 3-0 in my mind. I know the scoreboard says 4-0, but I'm not giving that kid credit for the goal because there's just no need for that, and there's just no need for it in the game. And we're all here trying to get better, especially in summer league. And again, clear if you were at the game, coach, clearly Ossining was hurting. It was really hot. Like I said, I think they started with 10 guys. They eventually got 12 guys, and Nick, the guy who runs the league, at the end of the game, I was telling him, man, 22 is really good for you guys. And he sort of laughed. He's like, that guy's one of the best players on our varsity team. He said, I feel bad, but our guys were hurt so much. His younger brother, I guess, was on the
Yeah, yeah,
JV
yeah.
team. So I
Okay.
said to him, you know what, suit up and get out there. But just stuff like that just annoys me a little bit because there's no need to be a jerk. We've all, player, coach, parent, we've all been on both sides of those, right?
Yeah.
And you're on a
Yeah.
team and you're not that good, and then the other team just keeps sticking it to you. Like, for what? Like, does it really matter who scores goals? Who's even keeping track in the summertime? But even if somebody was keeping track, that's not the idea of sports. That's not the idea of summer league soccer.
We've had issues like that the last couple of years. And I have a huge problem with it. You want to go out and get yours against someone who is a clearly weaker opponent. That doesn't impress me, right? And our guys often seem so content to do that. Like, yeah, you scored 3 goals against this team that unfortunately had to be scheduled against us, and really we shouldn't be playing against. Go score against Scarsdale. Score against
Right.
Arlington, right? Like, I don't care if you score 3 goals against a really weak side. Like, that doesn't do anything for me. And I don't understand how it does anything for you as a player. Like, you feel good about that. And I've said this to the guys. I go, we can go scrimmage like the Van Wyck Middle School team and we can beat them by 20. And I feel like you guys would feel really good about that. You'd be like, yeah, we killed them. Like, what do you mean? You know? And we've had that the past couple of years. Guess what? We've beat up on some teams that really were not very good. And when we had to play quality sides, we just lose,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't get it.
right. And to the player's credit, that the kid who scored that goal, he apologized. He apologized right away. But again, I think from your perspective and from my perspective, like, that doesn't really help out the Ossining team, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why just be a jerk about it, and why just stick it to them? And sometimes what other teams do, and I didn't ask us to do this, is just play keep away. And that's another thing that sometimes, like, okay, the intent there is I totally understand it. You're not trying to score, but when you're playing keep away, then against another team, it's like, man, yeah, they can't even get the ball. It
Yeah.
almost adds insult to injury. So I just said to the guys, keep playing soccer, do what we're supposed to do, get inside the box, and then give them
Knock
a
it
goal
wide.
kick. Yeah. And then let's get back and let's work on defending. And once we win it, let's, keep playing good soccer, work on the things that we've been working on, get inside the box, get a good opportunity to shoot, and then shoot at one of those 2 lacrosse goals. So for me, that just keeps the flow of the game going. It gives Ossining an opportunity to defend in real
Yeah.
life situations where, we're trying to get into the box. We're trying to get good opportunities at goal. And it gives us an opportunity to try to get into the box, try to get good opportunities at goal. But again, they're high school kids, and that's why they pay us the big bucks as coaches. Not that you and I get paid for summer league stuff. We've talked about that before, but But that's our rule. And again, the kids have been so good this summer, and they did apologize, and they're like, "Whoops, I'm sorry, my bad." But I just feel like even on our podcast, we can't explain this enough to the guys because sports is about getting better as a team, and summer league is about getting better as a team and doing the things like I just said, getting into the box and being successful and getting an opportunity a good opportunity to score and getting an opportunity to work on your defense and play good defense, but also to develop your character and to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and to realize, you know what, these guys are struggling a little bit. They don't need me to be a jerk. They don't need me to kick them when they're down.
Right. I'm the starting center midfielder for the John Jay varsity team, and I'm playing against a rising ninth grader who's going to play JV at Ossining. That's not the time to try and impose your will, because again, I want to see us impose our will against quality opponents, and at times we have. But again, like you said, they're high school kids, and that's what we're here for, to try and push high character. We certainly reinforce it enough. But we've made some
Yeah.
headway. We've definitely
Yeah.
made some headway. I think we generally have a high character group of guys with us, and it'll be interesting to see if that situation arises again, how they act.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
the telltale sign there, is if the opportunity presents itself again, how do they act?
Yeah. Yep. So then we went down to the lower field for the second game against Hastings, and we won that game 2-1. But I'll tell you what, Braden Cole made a awesome save. One of their Hastings kids got the ball um, out wide, cut it back into the middle of the field, put it on his right foot, and had a shot. I had a great angle of it, and that thing was going in the lower corner. And Braden Cole just laid out completely horizontal. You know, got a fingertip on it and deflected it over the end line for a corner kick. And then speaking of rising ninth graders, Andres, how good has this kid been for us?
Yeah, he's
He is
good.
going to be such a good goalkeeper, you know, going forward and going into ninth grade. And he made a couple good saves. One of them was a breakaway. I think he played in the second half against Hastings. And one of them was a breakaway that he made a save on. And he made a couple of other few good saves. So we won the game 2-1. But I made a point at the end of the game to say, hey, listen, our MVPs for this one were our two goalkeepers, Braden Cole and Andres, with just beautiful saves for us in that win.
That's awesome. Yeah, they've both been good, and you love seeing a kid, rising ninth grader, look good because you know that you can kind of be setting the net for a while. Andres is good, and I never seen him play before this summer because he didn't play for the middle school last year or anything like that. But he's fantastic. He's good. He's clean. He's got good hands. He's got good technique. He's commands the box. His distribution is good. So we look like we're in good shape in the net moving forward.
Yeah, so I have seen him play before. I'll tell you a quick funny story. So in the fall of last year, it was late in the fall, and I can't remember why, but we were on sort of the grass soccer field, maybe wrapping up a practice or wrapping up a game, and some of our junior high kids were off shooting on goal, and they're just random, just sort of pick up stuff and just peppering shots. And this goalkeeper, like save after save after save. So I think I forget who I turned to, and I'm like, who is that kid? And nobody knew who the kid was. So I thought about it for a second. Then I'm like, you know what? I know the kid's shooting on goal. I'm going to go walk over there. So I walked over there. I forget who the kids were who were shooting on goal, but they were definitely Van White guys. And I was just coming up with some conversation with them. And I turned to the goalkeeper and I said, oh, you know, what's your name? He told me his name. And I said, where do you go? He said, Van Wyck. I said, you go to Van Wyck? I said, do you play on the team? He said, no. And I can't, I think his club team. I can't remember why he didn't play on the team. And I said, oh, well, are you coming to Jay? And he said, yeah. I said, are you going to play soccer when you get to John Jay? He said, yeah. And I said, that's freaking awesome. Went over,
Yeah.
shook his hand. I'm like, really nice to meet you, man. You are really a good goalkeeper. And he really is. He's just really, really polished, especially for a ninth grader. You would never know looking at him right there.
No, no,
Ninth
no,
grade.
not
He's
at
good.
all.
He's
Yeah,
really good.
he's very good.
And just a little side note on that Hastings 2-1 win. Guess where two of our goals came from?
Was it
Our
the
out
flank?
our outside mids. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Chris Malacone got the ball out wide and, you know, was able to beat a guy, have a good touch for both goals, and he scored both goals. He was able to get into the box and at a pretty decent angle. It wasn't a terrible angle, and I think one of them was near post he shot, and one of them was far post. So just the value of those outside mids, yeah, and the
Yeah.
value of having good goalkeepers. Holy cow!
Yeah, Chris specifically's had a really good summer. He's made so much progress, tactically in his understanding. He is like the epitome of when you say, the kids are accepting of coaching and trying. He has been the textbook definition of that so far this year. And to his credit, to what a benefit, and how good does he look compared to kind of how he's looked in the past. It's just awesome to see with a kid like Chris, who has this unbelievable level of fitness and speed. To be able to add this to his repertoire of things that he brings to a game has been awesome, and he's played great.
Yeah, two of our big things as coaches, fitness, Chris is at the top of the list there, and willingness to be coached and willingness to listen and willingness to try new things. Again, Chris, I think, is a front runner, but we're using him at outside mid. And yeah, just because of his fitness. And he is just so willing to learn and to listen, and to give anything a shot. So love Chris Malaco. I'm a big fan of him. Yeah, in the past, he hasn't made our team, and I've always felt bad because I just felt like he was just right on the edge there, and I don't think that's going to be a problem this year. He's good. He's really going to
Yeah,
help us. He's going to help us this season. Yeah,
yeah, I think so, man. I think he's going to probably play, and really we're going to benefit from having him.
yeah. So then on Thursday we had practice, and we split the field with Coach Greenwood because there was the heat index was tough for the girls. The girls usually practice before us. A really good environment to it, John Jay. I tell you, I mean, you've got the girls on one half. They had maybe 15 players. The guys on the other half, we had about 15 players too. It wasn't a great showing for us. But we had, some alumni, Ray Troshi was there, Alberto Molina was there, Miesco was there, just scrimmaging off on the side. And the girls had some players too, Marley Watson, Bella Rosanio, Jill Linder, Megan Fetish. So it was just a
Yeah,
really good John Jay soccer environment where you're working with the young guys like the rising ninth grader, Andres, our goalkeeper. But you've also got, kids that have graduated college already, right? Ray
right.
and,
Yeah, you
and
got
Alberto. It was really
yeah.
cool to be a
You got a
part of.
bunch
Yeah.
of Division I soccer players around you, because I know Jill is going to Albany, right? And
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and Alberto played at Rhode Island,
yep,
and Ray is playing professionally. So yeah, I'm disappointed I missed that, because
yeah,
I love that stuff. It's awesome.
yeah. On a personal note, talking to Jill a little bit about the University of Albany because she's there playing soccer, and Austin has a scholarship offer at Albany. So we talked a little bit about Albany and the campus and the sports there. And then Alberto, like you said, he played at Rhode Island, but he also played a year. He's getting his master's at New Paltz, so he had played a year at New Paltz. And Austin played a baseball game there yesterday, Friday. And so this is Thursday night. So I'm talking to Alberto about, the baseball field, exactly where is it in relation to the soccer field? Because I've been in the soccer field before. So it was really cool, really
Yeah,
good
no, yeah,
environment. And don't worry, coach, we worked on some possession stuff, but I ran them. We ran some hills, we ran some
nice.
sprints on the field. So it was a good practice. And I really thank the 15 guys for being there because, like we've talked about in the past, we used to get 40 guys to these things because we would just open up the field and let them
Yeah,
scrimmage 11v11. But no more. We sort of work on things and work on our fitness, and really happy with I believe it was exactly 15 guys that we had, but they worked hard, which is great to see.
and I know that I wasn't able to attend the session, but I did get some of their GPS data from their Stat Sports trackers, and they look like they're working hard. We got a bunch of guys with them now. We have Win, Boscarino, Justin Ortiz. Like, when I look at Justin Ortiz's GPS tracker data, it's unbelievable. He's just a machine.
He is.
His speed and his fitness. And now Jacob Matthew just got one, used it in our game yesterday, and I'm looking at his data. It's just unbelievable. As more and more guys get these, and I'm able to do comparisons and look at them in our summer games and in our trainings, it's just so valuable. And then I'm doing research looking at different benchmarks for things that we should be looking for a high school player, and then we can try and tweak things and do some fitness tests. They have different, like, 10-yard, 20-yard, 30-yard fitness tests, and then comparisons where how they do based on if they excel here but don't excel here. This is the type of training that we should look at. So all that stuff is going to be coming down the pipe for us. It's going to be really, really valuable, I think. And again, as like a stat guy, numbers guy, math guy, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so valuable.
And I think the kids love it too because, coach, they whip out their phones right after a game or right after a practice, and they're looking at it. So yeah, it's really, really valuable stuff. Really cool
Yeah.
stuff.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait to fully integrate it in the fall and then have it just be a staple of our program. I think we're only going to benefit from it.
Yeah. So then on Friday to end the week, we had a good ending to the week. So at Osning, we played at 5 o'clock. We played against Greeley. Really good team Greeley
Yeah,
had.
Greeley looked good. They
Yeah,
they
it
were
was
good.
Yeah, it was a really good high school game. I remember going through that handshake line and saying to the opposing coaches, "Man, that was a really, really good high school soccer game." So,
And this
uh,
is kind of the nature of the summer league too, because I think last week they had played a game right before us and they did not look very good. And if you look at their results, they're not great, but the 11 guys they had on the field yesterday
right.
were good
Yeah,
and played good soccer and were organized, especially from the first half to the second half. Their tactical change defensively was huge and gave us trouble. They played really well.
yeah, they really did. So we tied that one 0-0, and then we got in the car, went over to Lakeland, and beat Valhalla 2-0. So it was a good week of soccer for us. Really good
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. And like you said, we're taking pieces of things that, regardless of the results, I really am not super focused on that, but just the progress that we continue to make defensively, especially in our attacking third during their buildup. We got to work a little bit more about when they're in the midfield, but our guys are really picking up what to do. Having those midfielders all play to one another instead of looking to play kind of through you and I. We hate just this constant north south through balls that guys rely on. Maybe that's the biggest thing to try and break. Maybe it's not diving. It's either diving in or just playing north south through balls to north south runners that just get cleared immediately by center backs. My two big pet peeves as a coach,
Yeah,
probably, and fouling. I mean, yeah, there's a long list, but that's really high up there in terms of offensively. So I think we saw progress in that Valhalla game, even from the first half to second half, where we had Sean V. Brock and Lucas Reverso as our attacking mids, and they're trying to play each other through in the first half. And we talked to them at halftime or when they both came off on the bench. And then in the second half, they start playing with one another and playing to one another and playing to each other's feet. And suddenly the flow of play is so much better, and we're able to create more opportunities, and just good things happen much more, and bad things happens much less. And we've said in the past that progress, even over a 3-minute halftime talk, is huge.
yeah.
So when we have this little boot camp in a couple of weeks, where we have them 4 nights a week in August leading into tryouts, and then we have preseason, and then we have all these things, to already have that little leg up is awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
you
and
know
and you're right, I forgot about that, that was frustrating. Whenever one midfielder is playing a through ball to another midfielder and that other midfielder is being called offside, things aren't going a along the lines of what we're looking for. We're not looking for
doesn't
through balls, yeah.
doesn't sound like a team that's coached by
Yeah.
us,
No,
you
no,
know?
no, yeah. Yeah, play to feet, keep
Yeah.
possession, and I think both Greeley and Valhalla were sort of pushing up a sort of an offsides trap a little bit. The answer is not to try to beat that trap by playing a through ball, hanging on to it, allowing them to get up and then playing that ball through. Play that ball wide and then take advantage now of them coming up, and now you can dribble out wide and force them to stop, running up with the offsides trap, turn around and go back, and now you got them facing their goal, and now all of a sudden they're dropping. Now all of a sudden all kinds of good things can happen. Versus, us one midfielder playing through a through ball to another midfielder. And the goalie's coming out anyway, right? So when a
Right.
team is pushing up in an offside shot, the goalie's coming out anyway because they know that that teams often look to play a ball up over the top. So the goalkeeper's coming out. So even if you're successful, even if you are on sides, the goalkeeper's right there, and the ball's not at your feet, so you're chasing after it, and the goalkeeper's coming in the opposite direction, and he's just going to whack it right back down into our defensive third. So not only were you not successful, but now we've lost possession. And oh, by the way, they're now countering on us because they're in our defensive third, and the entire team was running in that direction, pulling that offsides trap, and we were running in the opposite direction, trying to beat that offsides trap. It's like that is not the answer.
It's a huge uphill battle because that's how goals are scored at U10 and U12, and even on JV. Like, you watch a JV game and, like, you play in or behind enough times, and eventually someone makes a mistake and you get a ball in the back of the net and you get rewarded for that. But we've been coaching varsity soccer for long enough where you're not scoring against a quality team like that. The defenders are too good. The goalkeepers come off their line. At the JV level, you have handfuls of guys who are never going to play varsity soccer. And when one of those guys makes a mistake, you score a goal, but that's not working. That's why a lot of times we've said it in the past. We have guys who lead our JV team in goals and then come up and can't score varsity goals because they're just scored differently. We had a JV leading goal scorer go and play football the following year. I think because he
Right.
knew he wasn't going to score goals at the varsity level, he went and played football junior and senior year. We have Logan Matthews 2 years ago led our JV team in scoring. He's playing defensive midfielder for us because, like, his skill set is just so strong and solid there That's where the value is. We had a player lead the JV team in goals and then take a year off from soccer. Is just scoring goals at the JV level is not necessarily something that translates because there's really a night and day difference. So even when we're watching JV soccer games, all right, you scored, that's great. I'm more looking at the how, the process of
Right.
how that happened. Like if a guy scored 15 goals and 7 of them were penalty kicks, well, that means nothing to me, right? Like I put the goalie up there; he'll score 7 of them too.
Right.
So if it was a bunch of breakaways from a missed touch by an outside back and a bunch of penalty kicks like that, I don't know. I'm not impressed.
Yeah, I think you're right. At the varsity level, the opposing defenses are so well organized, and an opposing team is not going to pull an offsides trap if they are not really organized with it. Kind of like we're happy with our organization up top and steering the opposing tack in one direction, where that's sort of our focus. Our focus is not an offsides trap. We don't play an offsides trap, but if we did, we'd be really organized with it, right? And everybody would be on the same page, and then it becomes really difficult to defend. Where, like you say, at the JV level, a lot of times tactics is not coach's focus. It's just, developing individual players. So yeah, if an opposing team is trying to pull an offsides trap, they're not nearly as organized as they would be at the varsity level. So for sure. So a good week of soccer, coach, and a good week coming up. So this is the last week of the regular season for us in both the Lakeland League and the Ossining League. So the Lakeland League, I think I checked. I don't have it up on my computer here, but I think we were in sixth place, probably moving up in that Lakeland League. We're in. There's two groups of 8 teams, and we were in sixth place before last night's victory against Valhalla. But
I, I think we were in 7th and now we're in 6th if I'm
okay,
looking at it
okay.
right. Right.
My apologies. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no. I just looked at it and refreshed it on my page, and that's yeah. It looks like we're in 6th place, 2-2-2.
Yeah, so Sunday night we've got Carmel at 5 o'clock at Lakeland, and then Tuesday night we've got Ketchum at 6 o'clock at Lakeland. So I think if we could win both of those two games, we'd be able to jump up into the top 4, and then we would a week from Sunday we would start the playoffs in the Lakeland League. But if we can't jump into that top 4 of the group of 8 that we're in, then we'll wait till the following Tuesday to go to the playoffs. And playoffs are stuff we love because at that point now we start to, treat it like a regular season, right? We start to sort of get away from the development piece and get away from, letting everybody, get some time on the field. And we really try to win these games. We've only been able to win both leagues once, right? We won the Lakeland League once and the Ossining League once. So we would love to add, some more trophies to our trophy case. So that's going to be the focus coming up. But our schedule again, Sunday night at Lakeland, 5 o'clock against Carmel. Monday, then we close out the Ossining regular season the league, 5:30 against Blind Brook, and looks like we're going to be one of the top 2 teams in the Ossining League. And then on Tuesday at Lakeland at 6 o'clock against Ketchum, and then we go to the playoffs.
Yeah, very, very exciting stuff. And we'll get a little bit of a break with that bye in the Ossining League. So that'll be it for the week. We won't play until the following. I think Sunday would be the earliest if we played the 27th in that Lakeland. But it could, we could have a break until the 20th, which is kind of nice. Unfortunately, we won't get a practice session in there. There is no practice on the 24th because there's a football camp going on the turf at that time. But hopefully we'll be back out on the 31st. If we don't have a playoff game that day, I think that may be the finals of the Ossining League if we're fortunate enough to play well enough to get there. But like I said, coming up in August, August like 4th, I think we start Monday through Thursday for the 3 consecutive weeks, and then we're a double session starting on 25th. So I just keep that in the back of my mind that we're going to have plenty of time to train in a week and a half from now or 2 weeks
Yeah,
from now.
yeah. Yeah, looking forward to it. Hey, the 31st, 26 years for me and Mrs. Seipp, huh? How about that?
Woo!
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
awesome.
Thanks. Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right.
Uh,
Well,
it's 10 for me, but it feels like 26 sometimes,
okay.
coach.
When's the anniversary? I don't mean to put you
It
on the
just
spot
happened in
here.
May. It was
Okay.
May 23rd. Yep.
Okay. Nice. Congrats. Congrats. Well,
Thanks.
10 years is good. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
We're very lucky guys to have Mrs. Seipp and Mrs. Horton right along our side.
Yeah, lucky to have people who don't mind that we're not home very much at certain times. I think when we played Byram Hills, I was talking about something. I was running out of there because we had an early game, and I said, "This is a game I got to leave right now because I can get home for dinner." I said, and anytime I can do that, I was like, my wife will be thrilled to have me home for dinner, and
And your daughter. Yeah.
and my daughter, yeah,
Mhm.
and Matt was like, "You should have a wives of coaches on that podcast sometime and just see what some of them have to say." I said, we'd have to have some serious like explicit language
Yeah.
warnings if Mrs. Horton was on here.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
Uh,
very lucky. Very
mhm, yeah, we
lucky.
are.
All right. Well, thanks for putting this together again, Coach. And
Yeah.
thanks for the good week of soccer. And looking forward to next week.
Yeah, me too. All right, I can't wait, and then the playoffs, and see what we can do. See if we can take the progress we've made this summer and turn it into something that is tangible.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yep. So all right, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. We will see you next week, and everyone have a wonderful week. All right. Bye bye.